Every single day, we're faced with moments that test our patience and rattle our calm. Whether it's a traffic jam when you're already late, a co-worker's irritating habits, or your phone battery dying in the middle of an important call, life seems full of these little battles. It's not just about these minor irritations, though. It's about how we respond to them that shapes our days and ultimately our lives. Today we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us not just to survive these moments, but to thrive in them. Stoicism provides us with the tools to transform daily frustrations into opportunities for personal growth and inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why these principles have influenced some of the world's greatest minds for centuries, but also have practical strategies that you can apply right now to start living a more resilient and fulfilling life. So let's embark on this journey together, exploring how the calm logic of Stoicism can help us control our reactions, cultivate serenity, and bring about profound personal transformation. If you appreciate what we're diving into today and want to keep learning together, do me a simple, free favor by hitting the subscribe button and making sure you don't skip any part of the video to get the full transformative insights we're about to explore. Let's get started. Lesson number 1. Recognizing anger as natural. It's important to remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism steps in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is pivotal in transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone frustrates us, our first instinct might be to react with anger. But what if instead we paused and considered this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. By acknowledging anger as a natural emotion, we set the stage for learning how to handle it more effectively. The Stoic philosophers, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, often discussed the concept of not being swayed by external events, but instead focusing on our internal responses. They believed that our emotions, including anger, come from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. So when we feel angry, it's often because we're placing a particular value or judgment on what's happened. This understanding opens up a powerful opportunity for us. Each time we feel anger rising, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to view it? This is not about suppressing or denying your anger. It's about understanding it. By getting to the root of what triggers our anger, we can start to change our responses. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic and feel the anger bubbling up, recognize this as a chance to examine why you react this way. Is it really the action of the other driver, or is it your belief that your route should be obstacle-free? Moreover, acknowledging anger helps us empathize with others who might also struggle with their emotions. This empathy can deepen our connections and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. Lesson number 2. Focus on what you can control. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is incredibly liberating once you truly grasp it. Think about it. So much of our frustration and anger stems from situations or people we simply can't change, no matter how much we might want to. The Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that the real power lies in recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we can't. You control your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is more or less out of your hands: other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we reclaim a tremendous amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, we invest it in what we can actually influence. Let's make it practical. Say you're working on a group project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to get frustrated, right? You might even feel your temper rising. But ask yourself, what part of this situation can I actually control? You can't make your teammate work harder, but you can control how you respond to the challenge. Maybe it's a conversation about expectations, or perhaps it's reallocating work within the group. By shifting your focus like this, you not only reduce your own stress, but also open up more constructive ways to address the problem. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are just beyond our control. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not letting external events dictate your peace of mind. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and getting irritated because you're going to be late, pause and think, can I control the traffic? No. But what can I control? Your reaction. Maybe you turn on an audiobook or some calming music, or use the time to think through your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a stronger, more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less shaken by life's ups and downs because you know where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling your energies more productively. Lesson number 3. Practice mindfulness. This is about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. This aligns beautifully with Stoic teachings, which emphasize awareness of our thoughts and actions and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us to pause between our experiences and our reactions to them. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals instead of getting swept away by emotions. This is particularly useful when dealing with anger or frustration. For example, when someone says something that upsets you, instead of immediately reacting or snapping back, mindfulness allows you to take a step back. You notice your emotional surge, but choose to observe it passively without acting on it immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not just calming, it's empowering. It gives you the chance to choose a response that you won't regret later. Let's talk about how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds great in theory, but it's in the practice that the real magic happens. One simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you find yourself feeling anxious or angry, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus pulls your mind away from the triggers of stress or anger and brings you back to what you can control, your breath. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose an ordinary task or moment, like drinking a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of engaging fully with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into a richer, more textured moment. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your brain to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arises, you'll be better equipped to handle it with the same focus and calm. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us to experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you're angry, recognize it, but also remind yourself that this anger is just a passing state. It's not who you are and doesn't control you unless you let it. Lesson number 4. Accept impermanence. The idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever is a universal truth, that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and less frustration. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are constantly in flux, and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resisting it. Think about how often we get upset because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't come through, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, to get angry or sad. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently through the lens of impermanence. When we truly grasp that nothing is permanent, we start to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but gives us a more balanced perspective on them. Embracing impermanence allows us to live more in the present and worry less about the past and the future. If you know that everything is temporary, you begin to appreciate your experiences and the people around you more deeply. You don't take things for granted because you're aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly freeing. It reduces the sting of negative events and enhances the joy of positive ones. Now, how do we practice accepting impermanence in daily life? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, watch how the seasons change. Observe how your feelings shift throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can be reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you respond to disruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go your way, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a bigger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think about a time when something didn't work out as you had hoped, and then something better came along. Often, it's only in hindsight that we see how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence, it encourages us to find strength in it. Each change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By fostering this mindset, we not only cope with life's challenges more effectively, but also learn to move through them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's next. Lesson number 5. Understand your emotions. The Stoics believed that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions could lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better equipped to respond to life's challenges in ways that are aligned with our values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether it's anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perceptions of the world around us. For example, if you feel angry when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard? By digging into these questions, you can begin to understand not just your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it gives you the opportunity to change your perceptions and consequently the way you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are